Shalom all, Ariel Bar Tzadok here from the KosherTorah School, found online at KosherTorah.com. I have a very special teaching that I want to share with you at this time, which I'm offering to you as a gift in honor of our upcoming Hanukkah celebration. For those of you who follow me online, you know that in my public classes, I have been teaching specific types of Kabbalistic meditations in my Walking in the Fire class based upon my book, and also teaching specific techniques of protection from evil beyond the book in my other public class. I believe it is vital that each of us learn to practice specific Kabbalistic meditative techniques with the intent that they transform ourselves internally for the purpose of transforming our world externally. It's not enough that you just do something inside. It's got to be outside as well. We live in a physical world, and therefore we're required to do physical change. With this being said, I decided I was going to reveal to the public a very deep, profound secret. It's a meditation for success in times of adversity. This is an appropriate time to reveal this technique simply because the kavanah, or the meditation of it, is actually related to the upcoming Hanukkah holiday, and the source is actually from a verse in this week's Torah portion, Vayashev. So, normally we have a little 5-10 minute blurb. I don't know how long this is going to take, but I want to teach to you this technique. Now, as you see, I have it printed out right here. Link to version of this will be online. So whether you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube or patron, just look down into the notes or the text there, and you will see a link to this. And even though I do offer this to you free of charge, I must remind you that as a school that is giving to you, it is only appropriate for you to give back to us. So I'm going to ask you that if you do make use of this technique, and you will find it profoundly successful, please use the other link that you'll find there. Make a $26 donation to our school. Why 26? Numerical value, the holy name of God, Yud Kei Vav Kei. We give to you, you give back to us. We therefore complete the circle. Now, let me share with you how this works. Okay? I'm going to read it to you as we go along. You begin by reciting a verse from Genesis chapter 39, verse 2. It's a very powerful verse. In Hebrew, it's Wahi Hashem et Yosef, Wahi ish matzliach, Wahi bebeit Adonahu Mitzri, which translates as, and it was that Hashem, God, was with Joseph, and he was a successful man, and he was in the house of his Egyptian master. We all know the biblical story of Joseph. Kidnapped, actually sold by his brothers, sold into slavery. This is a very, very terrible time for Joseph. No due respect, he was from a wealthy family, he was a spoiled kid, and now he's sold into slavery. He is not sitting there when he's 17, 18, 19 years old saying, this is all for good, God is with me, I'm going to become prime minister of Egypt one day, and I'm going to save the world. No, he's not thinking that at all. He's suffering. He's in a time of adversity. And yet, like we say, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And Joseph is exactly our role model for that. And there are secrets in this verse, and I'm going to reveal those to you right now. Many will recite the verse itself forward and back as a power tool for financial success. You'll find that in our prayers for financial success, that this verse is used in that way. But here is something deeper. We recognize that all the verses in the Torah are a code. And we look at the capital letters, the initial letters, called in Hebrew Reshe Tevot, of a pasuk, a verse. And we extract from it that code. And here is this code. This verse has 11 words in it. And the 11 words obviously give us 11 letters. Those 11 letters, as you will see on the page, please print it out. Vav Yud, Aleph Yud, Vav Aleph, Mem Vav, Bet Aleph Hey. And yes, you can pronounce it out loud. Wayo'eh, Yawa'ema, Wahb, Aha. And these 11 is a very significant number because we know that there are 10 sefirot on the side of holiness. But it is exposed and revealed to us that there are 11 sefirot on the side of the unclean. And the only way we neutralize the 11 on the sefirot on the unclean side is with something of the number 11. The spices of the Ketorah incense that was offered in the Holy Temple had 11 spices in it, specifically to neutralize that dark side effect in this physical world. Well, these 11 letters in this specific context does exactly the same thing. So these 11 letters, Wayo'e, Yowa'ima, Wahab, Aha, they have a numerical value of 88. 88, pach. It's garbage in Hebrew, but that's exactly what we're doing. We're neutralizing the garbage. But it's also the numerical value of a special Hebrew word, nachal. Nachal is a Hebrew word for like brook. But it's a code word in the Kabbalah for the Reshe Tevot of the blessing of Hanukkah. Lahadlik ner Hanuka. Lahadlik ner Hanuka. The secret of Hanukkah, the real Kabbalistic secret of Hanukkah, is like with Purim, that the power of Hashem is in our hands to accomplish great deeds. And that's why when we look at the thanksgiving that we give on Hanukkah, we're not thanking God for a miracle which may not have even happened, about a little bit of oil which lit for 8 days. I mean, that's not even really a miracle. Why? Because they didn't need old oil. They could have, you remember, the Temple Mount is right outside the door. I should say outside the door is the Mount of Olives. They ever needed more oil, all they got to do is just walk 5 minutes, go get some more oil. No. I talked about this in my Hanukkah essays. We don't need to get into it right now. The power is in our hands. And that's why we say, thanks to God, that the small were able to defeat the great, that the weak were able to defeat the mighty. Because when we put our devotion into work and to practice, we can accomplish great things. We recognize that we as human beings are created in the image of God. The image of God, we are called Adam, man. Well, the holy name of God, Yud-Ke Vav-Ke, when spelled out in a certain way, is that numerical value equal to man. We call that Havaya, the name Yud-Ke Vav-Ke of Ma. But we call upon a higher power which comes from a realm beyond this physical world. And that is a realm which we call the Supernal Mother, the world to come. It is represented by the holy name Ehyeh, Aleph Hey, Yud Hey. But that power grows. It dawns upon us. So the growing force is symbolized in the way it is written. You can see right here in the form where it's written Aleph, Aleph Hey, Aleph Hey Yud, Aleph Hey Yud Hey. This is the expanding. In Hebrew, we call this a ribua. It is the growing presence, consciousness of that psychic ability that is within us. So, when we recite this verse, and when we recite these 11 letters as a chant, we keep in mind this holy code. Here, this is the name of Ma, with the ribua of Ehyeh within it. The name represents the power of the Imabina, the higher mind, concealed within the heart of Zah. Zah, Zeranpin, the small face of God, which is that name numerical equal to 45, which is Adam, us. It's the secret of tapping into our internal higher psychic abilities that are found within us in that place where the emotional heart is quieted by the internal higher knowing, which we call the mother of all true knowledge. So you contemplate this holy name formula and allowing its meaning to touch you deeply. That's it. That's the secret. It's not an academic concept. Okay, I do this, I do that. No. You sit and you think about it. You allow it to feel inside you. All right? You want to get a little Star Warsy? Let the force flow within you. Feel this energy. Recite the verse. Recognize that the verse itself isn't just a historical statement about Joseph in the past. It's an echo and a promise for all of us throughout all the ages. The secret is the code of its Reshe Tevot, which we can recite as a chant, wa yo e yo wa e ma wa aha, over however many times you need to do it. And as you're doing that, you're thinking about, you're feeling this concept of the Nachal, how within us we are impregnated with the higher power of God. Within our own higher self of the name Yud Ke Vav Ke, and how it grows within us, giving us awareness, bringing us dawning consciousness. What happens when you do this? You will find things will begin to pop up in your mind or in your heart, impressions, deep feeling things. You will start making psychic contact. You will know the right decisions to make at the right time and in the right way. All because you are connected to and focused to the power as was Joseph. Now, Joseph went through life every day probably depressed. He was falsely accused of rape. He's thrown into jail. And yet he never lost his tenacity. Never. If you remember the story in next week's Torah portion, or actually, he is actually in this week's going into next, he's translating dreams. And he tells the baker and he tells the cupbearer, hey, remember me before Pharaoh. All right? He never gave up hope. And somehow, some way, one morning, he woke up to the regular dingy grime and doom and gloom of being in prison. And that night he went to bed prime minister of a nation. Do you think when he woke up that morning he knew what was going to hit him that day? No. Neither do you. You keep the faith. You keep the tenacity. Do the meditations. Channel that energy from above and draw it into you, and from inside you project it out to the world. That's why we recite the chant. That is why we contemplate the meaning. That is why we recite the verse. Like we say in the Baruch She'amar prayer, Baruch HaOmer ve'oseh. Blessed be the one who says and does. Okay, guys, that's what you need to do. I ask you in return for a simple little end of the year $26 donation. Please remember our school, because we remember you. All right? Let's close the circle and make this real for us all. Ariel Tzadok here, hey, from the KosherTorah School. We got a lot of good courses for you for Hanukkah. 20% off to everyone who wants a good course. Shara Kedusha, Holy Names, Writings of the Ari, all the good deep stuff. Check out our course page. I'll throw in a little link down below here for you as well. Everything else, hey, you want to learn with us? Real deep meditations, mysteries of Genesis, and other courses to come? Become a member of our school. That's why we're here. Alrighty, guys. If I don't see or speak to you, Hag Orim Sameach, which means have a blessed, happy Hanukkah. And remember, this is not a Jewish Christmas, please. All right? No Hanukkah bushes, Hanukkah Harrys, or any of that nonsense. This is a time to celebrate victory at war. And we are always at war, because it's always a battle of light versus darkness. And each one of us, there's nothing to do with religion here, this is human souls we're talking about, has to fight that evil within ourselves and conquer it, because we will never be able to run away from it. Fight the good battle, win, be victorious, shine that light, and that is how we truly celebrate what Hanukkah is supposed to be. Ariel Tzadok here, wishing you shalom.